On April 13th, 2026, a number of speedboats were sailing along the Iranian coastline at high speed. These speedboats were carrying members of the Iranian Special Command Force. 4 speedboats were moving at the same time, and altogether there were about 36 trained commandos. They were sent for a very important mission. An unknown and suspicious ship had entered Iran's coastal area without permission and was trying to cross the region at high speed. No one could understand what exactly this ship was carrying or where it was coming from, because the ship's transponder was completely shut down. That's why Iran's high command deployed such a large and fast response team. The incident had actually started about 3 hours earlier. According to various international reports, Iran had strict control over this high-speed sea route and did not allow any ship to pass without permission. At that time, the situation in the Middle East was very complicated. In the radar control room of the Iranian Navy, operators were carefully monitoring every small movement because this route is used to transport a large portion of the world's oil. Around 11 o'clock in the morning, one of the radar operators, Ahmed Reza, suddenly noticed an unusual signal. Normally, signals from all ships on this route are clearly visible, but this one was different. It appeared that something was moving at a very high speed, yet it was impossible to identify what kind of ship it was. There was no name, no code, and no documentation visible on the radar screen. In normal situations, whether it's an oil tanker, a naval vessel, or a passenger ship, all identification details and routes are clearly displayed. But in this case, there was no information at all. At that moment, the officers realized that the ship had deliberately turned off its transponder. When a transponder is turned off, the ship's exact position, direction, and identity cannot be properly determined, and direct communication becomes impossible. The officers in the radar control room quickly understood that waiting was not an option. Even after multiple attempts, they failed to establish communication with the ship. So, they prepared to take immediate action. Their first concern was aerial surveillance. However, the nearest airbase was too far away, which meant deploying aircraft or drones would take time. So instead, speedboats were dispatched immediately. Although these speedboats look ordinary, they are extremely fast and powerful. They can reach speeds of up to 180 kilometers per hour. If necessary, they can also be equipped with machine guns and short-range missile systems. Within a short time, the speedboats reached close to the unknown ship. The commandos still had no idea what was inside, so they advanced with caution. Several warning signals were sent before reaching the ship, but there was no sign of it stopping. The situation grew more tense. Eventually, the speedboats moved in directly toward the ship. Some commandos quickly boarded it and began efforts to take control. At the same time, the radar control room decided to send additional support to avoid any delay. 2 helicopters were quickly dispatched to the scene, carrying more commandos. To further stabilize the situation, 2 MiG-29 warplanes were launched from the airbase. These jets arrived quickly and monitored the situation from above. On board the ship, the commandos gradually managed to reduce its speed. More forces joined from the helicopters, strengthening control over the vessel. After nearly 2 hours of effort, the ship was finally brought to a complete stop. News of the incident quickly spread across international media. However, no official information was released regarding the ship's origin or what it was carrying. Iran later announced that any ship entering their maritime borders without permission would face strict action. This entire incident made one thing clear. Iran is now placing greater importance on the security of its maritime borders, not just its airspace. They have significantly strengthened both their naval and aerial defense systems in the eastern region.